Right. So, practical 6 is all about inter-VLAN routing or using router in stick mode. So, I will explain the theory behind this. So, earlier practical, as you have seen, right, for each and every network that we had, we have to consume one network interface. For example, now 192.168.1.0 is connected to one interface, that is fast Ethernet 00 of a router. Now, to go to the other network, there is another network interface is consumed. Likewise, the network interfaces of the routers are limited generally. So if the number of networks have increased, sometimes you may not have enough network interfaces to support all the networks. To solve this problem, this route and stick mode has arrived. So this one actually supports handling the multiple networks using a single network interface cards. So the what you do is in a home. We get a large water line. Then we subdivide into small water lines to in order to distribute in different places. Likewise, in a computer network, we use a single large main interface and subdivide those main interface into a smaller sub interface and assign IP addresses of different networks to these sub interfaces is the way to go, right? So, the way we do this is explained using this particular practical. Now, for example, now if I say now this particular uh, network has one VLAN here, VLAN 10, and the another VLAN here, VLAN 30. So these two are two different networks. So PC1 wants to communicate with PC3, so that these two uh, um, one's traffic has to be sent to the router 1 and passed to the other side of VLAN 30. So if we have two networks, actually in the earlier technique we had to have two internet network interface cards of the router. But in this technique, what we do is we send the traffic onto us one in a single line here to the router and send it back to the other side using the same network interface by defining sub interface for one network uh, for the VLAN 10 and another sub interface for the VLAN 30. So this can be any number based on the capacity of the main interface. So this technique is called router in stick mode. So let's try to configure this uh, in the actual simulator. Right. So first we need a router, and then we need a switch, and we need two PCs representing VLANs. So this is, we rename this to PC3. So then we connect the cables as given. Fast Ethernet 05 to Fast Ethernet 01. Right. So this is router connection, and this one Fast Ethernet 011. Other one is Fast Ethernet 06. Right. So the all the commands actually given here. So uh, so we will try to build one. So The first we will set the IP addresses of the PCs. So now, as you can see it in this table, the PC1 IP is given as 172.17.10.10, and the outgoing interface is the sub interface IP address of that network. Now, for example, 172.17.10.10, and the gateway address is 172.17.10.1. So 10.1 is the uh, sub interface IP address of the fast Ethernet 01 interface, where the traffic goes in along this line and go to the router and come back in a different sub uh, interface. So PC1's IP we will configure. Gateway 172. So this information is given in the table. So we will configure. PC3 also 172.17.30.10. And mask is 255.255.255.0. Gateway is 172.17.30.1. So it is given in this particular table, right? So then we have to configure the uh, router, right? First, and the switch also. Switch, we have two VLANs, so we will configure the switch. So switch commands all given. So I will type it in the notepad for your convenience. So S1 switch 1 enable configure terminal VLAN 10 name VLAN 10 VLAN 30 name VLAN 30. Then we need to make the membership VLAN 10. The fast Ethernet 011 has to be a member of VLAN 10. So we do it on one go. So we will do interface FA0/11 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 10. Then the other one fast Ethernet 06. So interface FA0/6 switch port mode access switch port mode access VLAN 30. Then so the traffic of VLAN 10 and traffic of VLAN 30 goes to the router using the same cable. So this one has to be which type of cable? So this one is access port. This FA05, what type of port? Because it is common to the VLAN 10 and 30. So what type of port we have to use? Students, what type of port that we have to use? Because we have learned here, right? Learn here in the practical number 2, when the common traffic goes along the multiple VLAN traffic goes along the single port, we have used which type of port? Trunk port. Okay. So similarly, in here also, we have to use a trunk port. Okay. So the trunk port configuration we will do interface FA0/5 and switch port mode trunk, switch port trunk native VLAN 1, switch port trunk allowed VLAN add 10, and switch port trunk allowed VLAN add 30. So the trunk port actually has to carry VLAN 10 traffic as well as VLAN 30 traffic to the router. So that is why we configure the fast Ethernet 05 here, port number 5 as a trunk port to carry the traffic. Then we type N. So this one is actually switch 1's configuration. So I will explain this again. Uh, Enable means go to the privilege mode. Conf is going to the global configuration mode, right? Then we created two VLANs in the switch. Then you have to make the members of fast Ethernet 11 is the member of VLAN 10. So we issued that three commands: fast Ethernet 011 mode access and access VLAN 10. And for the port number 6, it's VLAN 30. So we did that also. Then the common traffic goes to the router, goes via fast Ethernet 05. So since there are two VLAN traffic going on, so it has to be a trunk port. So we made the uh, port number 5 a trunk port using these commands. Switch port mode trunk we converted. Switch mode trunk nating VLAN 1, that is sending the common traffic over the VLAN 1, and the VLANs that operates on that particular trunk, we have added switch port trunk allowed VLAN add 10. So this is the trunk port, the VLAN ID, and this is VLAN add 30. So 10 and 30 traffic we send, and then we put an end to the configuration. So this is the switch configuration. So we copy this and put it into the yes, the last one I made a typing mistake. So this one ITCH. Right. Now correct. Right. So I have added the the VLANs and we have configured the switch. So in the router, we have extra sub interfaces to define. So switch configuration you know now. So it has been turned on. Now this link, the router side, we have to create the sub interface. For that, the commands are been given here under 8, right? So the first one is to create a sub interface FA01.10, because actually this you have to learn this. So the first part is the interface ID. So that is FA0/1. Then after dot we put the VLAN ID. So 1.10, right? So that is how the sub interface is defined. Right. Similarly, for the 30 VLAN, we have FA0/1.30 and the IP address is given. So then we have some extra command to say that the particular VLAN traffic should go inside this particular sub-interface. Now, for example, if the sub-interface 1.10 should have a encapsulation .1q, that is the protocol, and the we are sending the VLAN 10 traffic. Then we have to give the IP address properly, and we have to say no shutdown. Similarly, when you create another sub-interface for the VLAN 30, the interface will be FA0/1.30 and encapsulation .1q30 and the IP address of that particular interface. Then we have to say no shutdown. So likewise, when we have a water line, big water line in, then we redistribute. We have to turn on the main interface. Otherwise, sub interfaces won't work. So because of that, we have to turn on the main interface. Say no shutdown, then it should work. So we will, for the router, I will build up the command set. So you can do it with me. So enable configure terminal like that. Then we have to say interface FA0/1.10, then encapsulation .1q, that is the protocol, and we say 10, then IP address 172.17.10.1 255.255.255.0. Then we have to say no shut. Similarly, for the interface 30, the interface 30 is coming, 30 encapsulation, and 30.1. Then we have to say interface phase 0/1, that is the main interface, and we have to say no shut. Then we have to say end. So this is the command set for the router. So if you have more sub interfaces, you have to add more. That's all. Right. So we build up this command set and we paste it on the router. Then it should properly configure itself by turning on the interfaces, right? Then we should be able to ping from PC1 to PC3 without a problem. So the nice feature is we use only one cable to send the traffic of two networks here. So if you have multiple networks, you can simply do using route in stick mode. So let's ping and see to the other side, to the PC3. We give command ping 172.17.30.10. It's first one, it's timeout, but then later it found out how to traverse through the line. So sub interfaces works. So you can put also under the simulation mode, if you need, you can put a packet from here to here and say simulate. Then it will nicely go to the router. Then from router, it will be routed to the other sub interface and then go to the PC3. Likewise. So this is very important theory part because this will save a lot of money by sending the traffic over the same line to the router without wasting one interface per network. So It is very essential that we know about this technique. So then we can do the practical. The practical 7, I'll explain the scenario of how to do. Right. So hope you can do this. If you want, I will give you some time if you want to do this. Uh, so you try it yourself. Right. These are the command set. So I will give you about 5 minutes or so. You can try it yourselves. Right. So we will continue the other to the other practical. So that is practical number 7. Right. So let's first learn about how to do. Now, this practical needs all the things that we have learned so far to do it, right? So now, for example, uh, this network, if you take, you have how many VLANs, how many networks? Let's ask little bit of small questions. Then we can easily do this. So, uh, so how many networks we have here? How many VLANs?
3 wheeler.
3 VLANs. Yes, faculty, student, and guest, right? So, actually, as you can see, switch number 2 and switch number 3 configurations are almost same because switch number 2, port number 11 is PC1. Uh, switch number 3, port number 11 is PC4, belongs to same VLAN. So if we write command set for the switch 2, it can be easily uh, done for the switch 3 as well. So, and these two links are what sort of links? How many trunk links we have in this particular network? How many trunk links? How many trunk links we have here? Trunk means sending the common traffic. Yeah, how many? Yeah, I didn't hear. There are 3 trunk links, right? So that is between switch 2 and switch 1, one trunk link, switch 1 and switch 3, another trunk link, and switch 1 and router, another trunk link, right? So we have to draw this quickly, and shall we configure this? So I will give you a hint on how to do. So let's have one router. You have 3 switches. You have 2960 switches. And you have 6 PCs. So we have 6 PCs. So we have to connect. So we use straight through cables everywhere. PC1, port number 11. PC2, port number 18. PC3, port number 6. Similarly, the other side also, port number 11, PC4, PC5 port number 18, and PC6 port number 6. And these two are connected port number 1 to port number 1 switches. The other side port number 3 to port number 3. This one port number 5 to routers port number 1. Right. Practical 7. I'm going to save. Okay. So then we will build up the configuration. Okay. So first we will do it for switch number 2. S2. So one by one we will build S2 enable conf T. So this is to go to the configuration mode. Then we have to create 3 VLANs: faculty, student, and guest. So we say VLAN 10 name faculty, VLAN 20 name guest student, VLAN 30 name guest. Then we have to make the switch ports members of the particular VLAN. So if 11 VLAN 10. So interface if we FA0/11 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 10. So similarly, the other ports, port number 18 VLAN 20, and for the port number 6 VLAN 30. Then we can also create this trunk port here, F01, F01. So interface FA0/1 switch port mode trunk switch port trunk native VLAN 1 switch port trunk allowed VLAN at 10. So here 3 VLANs are there. So this line is common for all trunk VLAN. So switch port trunk allowed VLAN at 20. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN at 30. Then we can say end, right? So this is the switch to configuration. So uh, I have explained to you how I build this because we have 3 uh, ports which is in on VLAN 10, 20, and 30. So PCs are connected. So we have made the ports membership. Then we have one trunk port carrying all the traffic of VLAN 10, 20, and 30. So we made that port FA01 trunk, and the native VLANs is 1, and we have added all 3 VLANs to be transporting packets through that trunk port. So then what we do is we copy this 1, and we can simply paste it in the switch number 2. Now, only difference in switch number 3 is this port number. F03 is the trunk port. All other configurations are same. F11 VLAN 10, F18 VLAN 20, F6 VLAN 30, and F03 is the trunk port. So we change it. F0 for the switch 3. F03 is the trunk port, and we add the switch port trunks to here. So we copy and paste the switch 2 configuration also, very easy. So switch 2 configuration is also done, right? And for the switch 1, of course, we have 3 trunk ports, F5, F1 and F3. So we will build up that configuration from the scratch. So we take a copy and we put it onto the switch 2, right? So if I will put another notepad so that you could see the previous one. Otherwise, okay, I will keep it here and I will take another notepad and build up the configuration. So this is for switch 1 I am building. So first we have to create 3 VLANs. So en conf t 3 VLANs are created. Then we don't have access ports, so we remove that. And we have pass Ethernet 01, which is a trunk port and which is carrying all 3 VLAN traffic. Similarly, we take a copy again for the F03. This is the trunk port. So only the port number will change. Other configurations are same. And for the port F5 again, all 3 links are going on. So we put F05 again for the as a trunk port. So this is the switch 1 configuration with 3 trunk ports. All the commands we can simply copy and paste, because after we build, it is very easy to do this operation, right? So you could see that this one we can copy paste into the switch number 1. So I'm going to copy this and paste it, right? So all 3 switches, now the configurations have been completed. So only thing we have to do is the router, right? So I will keep this for you to write down if needed. Right, I will take another notepad and build up the router configuration. Right. So, how many networks we have? We have three. VLAN 10 is 172.17.10.0/24. And for the Sudan network, it is 17.20 network. And for the 30, 17.30 network. So we have to create three sub interfaces for three networks. And in the topology, it's given as VLAN gateway as 10.1, 20.1, and so on. So we will build up the router one's configuration EN 150. So we have to create a sub interface. So interface FA 0/1 dot 10. Then IP address we take it from here 172.17.10.1. Similarly, we have to say no shutdown. Similarly, we have three subnetworks, so we take copies 20.0, interface 30.0, sorry 3.0, and here 20.1, 30.1 is the sub interfaces. So we have three sub interfaces. Interface FA0/1.10, 0/1.20, 0.1.30, and the IP address for the gateway is given in the topology. See, it says gateway address of each VLAN is the first IP address of each VLAN network. So it is given. Then we have to turn on the main interface. So that interface FA0/1, and we have to say no shut. Then this is the router configuration. So so we copy the router configuration to the router. Copy this. Right. Okay. So we copy and pasted the router configurations as well. So you could see this one. Now the network is up actually. So only thing is we have to configure the PCIPs and the gateways. Then this will nicely work from PC1 to PC6. So I will do two PCs configured from VLAN 10. So I will put the PC1 IP address as 172.17.10.5. Okay. So we will put 172.17.10.21. It's given 10.21 is given IP address, and mask is 255.255.255.0, and gateway address is 172.17.10.5. 17.10.1. Because we have configured the sub interface IP as 10.1. So that is PC1. Similarly, I will put another one as 172.17.30.26, that is given here, and mask is 255.255.255.0, and gateway address is 172.17.30.1. So I have configured two IPs. So similarly, you can do for the others because it is information given here. And sorry. So let's ping and see whether our work has been completed or not. Ping 172 dot. So I am in now in the PC1. So I am trying to ping the PC6. So we put 172.17.30.26. That is the IP of the PC6. So it didn't work. We'll see. Sorry. So we will see what are the sub-interface IPs. Its IP addresses we haven't set. So it has not been set as it says. So in the router, we will check again our router configuration. Now this is the router configuration. So let's see. Right. Right. So here I have missed one part, that is encapsulation dot one Q 10. Right. So this one has to be there for the 20 for the type and 30 for the router. That is why it didn't work, because in the router stick mode, this one is essential to define sub interface, where which sub interface carries which VLAN traffic. So because of that, it didn't work. So that now we will put it again. Okay, now it should work. Right. So now IP addresses set as you can see it on the tooltip. Now it should work the ping operation. So we are trying to ping from PC1 to PC6. Okay, now the pinging works. Now that means our task has been done. So you can do this full practical uh, using the commands that I have built up. So I will keep that on screen a little bit, right, for you to write down. This one is for the ones for the router. So with this, we know now we have tried our all the techniques that we have learned uh, throughout the practical session uh, up to practical number 7. So I will wind up now the class and you have to now I will explain what we have done so far. We did got to create devices, switches, routers on the packet tracer. Then we learned how to connect them. Then we learned how to add interfaces to the routers. Then we have learned about creating VLANs in the switches. Then we learned about doing the routing, two techniques, static routing and well as dynamic routing. Then finally, we learned about using a single network interface to send multiple traffic of VLANs using sub interfaces. We call it router in stick mode. Then finally, we used all that knowledge to do the practical number 7, where we had three VLANs connecting over three switches, and we connect them using trunk ports, and then we configure the router in stick mode. So this is the all knowledge that we need to do the practical examination. Using this knowledge, please do the practical number 8. Uh, so that contains the routing, small routing part as well. So with that, you can actually uh, get 100 marks because I only changed the topology, but theories are same. If you apply them correctly, you can get the full marks. So in order to support this operation, we have created several topology files and uploaded it to the LMS. Uh, I will enable them today by checking it. Then you can do practice exams for each topology within the given time and see whether how much you score. So you try them again more and more times so that you can practice and you can do it thoroughly. Then when the topology is given at the exam, you can simply do it without any problem. So the practice topology files are given there. I will enable them. So you try that on your own. Okay. So hopefully you can people who are at the regional centers, you can actually book the regional center labs if you don't have PCs equipments, and come and work in the lab after talking to your relevant lecturer or a lab in charge concerned. So I have to wind up the class now. I'm having very difficult time talking. Anyway, I managed to do 7 practicals for you. So I will upload this recording. Uh, Most probably not today, but I think on Friday or Saturday I will upload this recording. But still, you have the individual recordings on the LMS so that you can practice on your own one by one. Okay, so with that, I will wind up the class, and thank you very much for bearing with me over around 6 hours now. Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you, Regional Center staff, for coordinating this. And I hope your support will be given for the BSc IT programs network class as well. Okay. Okay, I'm going to wind up the class now.